Thank you for introducing me. I'm Dominik, as you probably heard a little bit, and I am super fan of the Firebase and also best dancer of the Macarena on the after party. You will see. Yeah, oh, I hope so. What our talk is about? It's about machine learning, Firebase, Android, and actions on Google. All these things we're going to use it today for making app that using machine learning and help you cook in 40 minutes. What's the learning process here? Oh, that's tough question. I was thinking about how to make it like easy to use and how to help people to cook, because I can't cook. My maximum is Chinese noodle soup, something like that. Okay, our process is like something like that. Person join with the actions on Google will ask, what's the challenge for today? And Google will answer, for today, you have to cook, for example, perfect hot dog. Because you will see why hot dog. After that, our backend and the app, he's gonna cook it, as you see, the logo. And after that, he's taking photo of that food, because we are living in an Instagram world. It doesn't matter how it tastes. It's just about how it looks like. And it will process the image and tell you it's hot dog or not hot dog. Probably you are familiar with this from the Silicon Valley TV series. They made an app called Seafood. It wasn't about seafood at the start. It was about cooking recipes for the like 40 or 50 cooking recipes how to make octopus. But yeah, it's about like processing the hot dog. How to detect hot dog? Well, I'm not machine learning expert, but I know Firebase. And Firebase has a cool feature called MLKit. MLKit is something built on the top of TensorFlow Lite. That TensorFlow Lite MLKit will help you to run the machine learning on your device. And it's easy to use. As I said, it makes you using machine learning so much easier. Works easy on both platforms, as iOS and Android. Already, there is some pre-trained models as text recognition, object, face recognition. Last year, or not this year, was launched, for example, offline translation. Like you will take a photo of the text and it will translate on your device. And also, it has your own model serving. Why you should care about? Because probably most of you are developers, right? Yeah? Okay. The old process was to take a machine learning expert that will make the data for you, prepare the model, and developer is at the end of the process, just predict and using it in the app. Now, with the MLKit, you can use machine learning as you want, and it's easy to use, and there is like easy process how to learn and deploy model. Just receiving data, that's the hardest part probably. As I said, MLKit have already finished APIs. You can serve own TensorFlow model here, and you can build your own model using AutoML. That's a new feature in the Firebase. You just upload the photos there. The processing power will teach the model how it looks like. And yeah, you're just using it. We're gonna use the last one because it's the most cool one. Okay, let's receive the data. I was about the food. Then I found a cool website called Kaggle, and I found the dataset called Food Images 101. Problem is that Firebase is taking the photos, the zip folder, which is not larger than 1 gigabyte. This model is 5 gigabytes. I was like, okay, I will take just subdata of that model. and I found this. Hot dog and not hot dog. I was like, oh man, yeah. I was like that. How to train Firebase ML Kit? Yeah, that's easy, as I said. You open the Firebase console and you name your dataset. I named my dataset hot dog. You tell if it's like single label detection or multi-label detection. In our example, it's multi-label detection, but I mark it as single, and just in the photo it's multi. Sorry about that. Because like hot dog or not hot dog, there are not many labels in there. There is my dataset. You see some steak here. It's not hot dog. Some pizza and fries. Yeah, everything from that is not hot dog. I uploaded the 500 or 1,000 photos. Yeah, 1,000 photos, and let Google process power to train on that. It took about 8 hours. That's a lot. But they informed me on the email, and I slept for 8 hours finally. I had 1,000 images at the start. It would train it for 8 hours using 3 GCP compute engines. Final model have 5 megabytes. I marked as the most complex one. Then it's running like 120 milliseconds for response you are waiting from that model on the device. Slowest, but best results. Like I have to know if it's hot dog or not hot dog. And yeah, all of that for detecting hot dog. You're probably like thinking how it's hard to use it, something like bigger than that. Like the huge data set that I had, you can imagine how it's hard to use the data set in the Firebase. The Firebase is probably for the small data sets, because you can upload a large data set there, but for this example, it's perfect. For our app, we are thinking about 2 databases. Firebase have 2 databases called Firebase Real-Time Database and Cloud Firestore. And what's the difference in that? A real-time database is for huge benefit, like the chat, for example, and things like that. You are paying for the benefit on your database, not the reads and writes as a Firestore. Then when you are reading, for example, just once in an app, and you want to have some modeling here and references, you will use the Firestore. But real-time database is perfect for a chat app, for example. Yeah, and also real-time database is like huge JSON. But somebody likes that, I don't. Our database, like structure was like that. I don't want to describe that. I don't know why I have like a slide like that in my slides. Oh, okay. I wanted to do like generate challenge every day. Generate challenge for my database for a person. Hey, today you have to cook perfect hot dog. Tomorrow cook perfect noodle soup. And in 3 days cook, for example, perfect, I don't know, kebab, for example. How to cook kebab. Yeah. How to generate random challenge from Firebase document. That's tricky, because there is nothing like random in Firestore. There is no method for that. But you can use like tricky steps to make it simple. You will give each document in your Firestore to have like flow number in it. Oh, long, sorry. And you will query that field based on the random. And after that, I will show you rather my algorithm. There on the right side, you see the challenges generation. It's pretty huge, but it's working. Yeah, I just like looked at a random number, and I found if it's like larger or equal my generated random, and if it's not, I will go beyond that. And on the left side, you see the pops up cloud functions. it's something new in the Firebase, and you're using the cron.yml syntax from the cron jobs from the Google Cloud. Yeah, and you're just saying, hey, run these cloud functions every 24 hours, and it's running. Everything is ready. Our model is ready, our database is ready, and now the app that I was talking about. I wanted to sign into our app because I used the actions on Google. Oh, Dennis was using the actions on Google, and I want to recognize my user. We used Google sign-in because Google, you have paired account with your actions on Google that it's easy to use actions on Google. Then it's like 3 lines of code in Kotlin to use pre-built UI of the Google. Also Twitter and Facebook. It's like easy to use and it's working. How to download the model? It's more than 3 lines, but yeah. You're receiving the model from the Firebase SDK. You set initial conditions for your model, and you register that model local. You can also download that model locally and not receiving that from the Firebase. But I wanted to update my model in the future. You create the labeler from the Firebase ML Vision and set some remote model name. And after your labeler is created, you're processing the image that is received from your camera. It's easy like that. And yeah, it's working. Yeah, that's how simple is using AutoML in your app. For example, I'm not machine learning expert, and I was able to use machine learning in 15 minutes. Except the training part, the 8 hours. But I was sleeping. You can count it in your working hours, right? That's simplicity of the AutoML. They're trying to make all the machine learning experts, but I would probably use for the huge data set on the start something larger than the TensorFlow Lite. But for my labor for the hot dog, yeah. I will pass my presentation to Dennis. He will talk about the actions in Google, how it was connected to the app. Thank you.
Thank you. So, hello again. My name is Dennis. I'm a Google developer expert for Google Assistant. And when I'm not doing talks like this, I'm still studying high school. So, let's go. How many of you know Google Assistant or use it? Please raise your hands up. Cool, that's a great number. And how many of you know that you can develop for Google Assistant? That's also a great number, I'm surprised. Good crowd. Okay, so Action Google is a platform how you as a developer can extend Google Assistant to do something that you want. And why should you care about a platform like this? It's because there is a huge user base you can reach. Google Assistant is on 1 billion plus devices, and that's a huge number of devices, and they are available everywhere. It's not just phones, it's headphones, it's TVs, or it's dedicated hardware like Google Home and smart tablets and so on. So that's great accessibility features that you can use, and you don't have to have a smartphone in your hand. You can just have a headphone in, and you can ask and you can talk. So now that we do some quick interaction, let's create our action. How do we do that? You will start on web actions.google.com. That will be like your console where you will manage your action. You will just press the nice blue button and then select conversational action because we want to talk with it. And with talking, there's something like designing a conversation and managing the user input. That's something that maybe you as a developer are not really used to, and you probably don't want to process its sentence as a string to get the numbers, get the parameters, or even understand what did the user mean with I want my challenge or what's the daily challenge. That's something that Dialogflow will help you with. Dialogflow is a product from Google which will help you with the intent matching and entity extraction. So it will decide what the user said, it will parse the function, and it will get you simple something meaningful does for you. So if I say, what's my challenge, it will tell me that the user wants challenge, and I don't have to understand the sentence. And for the entity extractions, for example, if we had, what's the challenge this week? We as humans understand that this week is some time preference, but as a computer, it would be difficult for you to understand, okay, this week was this week of what if I said next week? That's going to be completely different, like number and hard to parse. So Dialogflow will do that for you, and it will just parse you nice ISO string that you don't have to worry about. And it will look like this. So that will be something that's called invocation phrase. So ask cooking class for this week's challenge. That will go to Google Assistant. Google Assistant will just send this week's challenge to Dialogflow, and Dialogflow will give you the intent, challenge, and the entity this week, which is time. That will be passed on to webhook, which runs on Firebase, and from there you will get a response. Our latest challenge is, and it goes round until the conversation is finished. So how do you train this? Because of course it won't learn by itself yet. So you have to pass some training phrases. For the challenge, it looks like this. Here are some training phrases which resemble the phrases that the user could set when we want to catch this intent. So the food challenge, the challenge. The more you can write here, the better. And the highlighted yellow text, that's the entity extraction. Dialogflow automatically recognized that we are talking about time, and it extracted it. But the more you can write here, the better the recognition will be. And this is how we can return a quick response. This is the welcome intent. This is the first thing that user will get when they talk to our action. So welcome to the cooking class. Here's just a simple text. But what if you need to think about it? And you cannot return just the same exact text all the time. You will enable the fulfillment and the webhook call for this intent. It will ignore the response, and it will send it to your Firebase Cloud Functions, which looks something like here. And here you have the name of the intent, and here we can think about what do we want to return as a response. So we'll get the challenge from Firebase, of course, Firebase Firestore, as Dominik talked about, and then we will return the answer. So our latest challenge is to cook, and then the name of the challenge. Here we are using the access on Google library. So this is Node.js on Firebase Cloud Functions, and we are generating HTTP webhook from that as our fulfillment, which we will insert into the Dialogflow project. And here's it a bit explained, but we are going to skip that. So now we want to connect this because each user is unique, and we need to connect the app to the action. And we can do that with Google Authentication and OAuth possibly. So the simplest one is using just Google account, because users don't have to do anything about this, don't have to open their phone. They can just talk to it and it will do automatically. No need to sign in because the user is already signed in into the Google Assistant. And we can easily connect it to the app this way. So here we will invoke the connection process, and here we will get the result of it. And if we already have some database of user, we can use custom OAuth to build the process, and it will look similar to this one. And what do we get from it? We get parsed Google object with data about the user. So mostly you will care about the name and, for example, some ID and the email, and that's pretty much it. Now that we got the user signed in, we can ask about his specific challenge and about his specific or her Google dishes. So we get best dishes, which will, of course, get our data again from the Firestore, and then it will return a sentence like this, for example, you are great at cooking spaghetti, hamburger, and Chinese noodle soup. After that, this should be the result. So when we invoke the app, welcome to the cooking class, challenge, or I want challenge, any of the phrases that we trained it on, and even some phrases that we didn't train it on, it will run by itself. So you don't have to type all of them. It's trying to be smart, and it's getting better and better. And best dishes. And that would be it. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, guys. Can we go to the Slido? And before we go to the questions, can you answer my question? What's the costume? What's the costume?
That's a slot costume.
And why do you have it?
It's not. like every year, DevFest has I don't know, the mascot of the DevFest, and this year is Sloth. I don't know why. Probably the organizers are lazy. But that's it. I'm the most lazy one.
All right, thank you for that. Does anybody have a question? Or anybody typing? All right, so what's the debugging process in Assistant?
Okay. So for each query you get, the user sends to the Google Assistant. If it doesn't understand, you got like a history of what the user said. So you get the exact sentence, and you can train the model or train the intent to learn, to watch what intent should it go. Or for example, if you just don't know if it's, for example, failing, or you will probably access something like your Firebase Cloud Functions logs when you can see the error in your code. And I guess that answers the question, hopefully. Any other questions? And did you know that we have action for this DevFest? And if you say, because I'm so sad because nobody's using it, so I want to get some users. So if you say, hey Google, talk to Developer Festival, you will get to know it much better. Thank you.